Good morning and good afternoon, depending on wherever you at the time of this recording. This is episode 148 of the Restricted Zone podcast, guys. And man, we are in the middle of March Madness, man. Literally, we're in full swing of it, and March Madness did not fail to deliver. I mean, Auburn just got upset by Yale, which is outrageous in itself too. Uh, the SEC looked bad. Florida just lost a buzzer beater. Uh, I Man, the SEC looking like a bunch of scrubs, overrated, and people was making that argument a long time. But now that we're seeing it in this tournament this year, I mean, just what's your thoughts on the SEC as a conference? Before we dive into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, shoot, man. Well, first off, hello world. Just Johnny tapping back in. Listen here, just an analyst, not an advocate. No matter how strange that's going to sound, especially tonight, just an analyst, not an advocate. And you talk about analyzing. Oh my God, what a spread! I made three brackets. They're all tore up, and I turned. And first of all, just to start off with what happened, it was what you said. See, like. The SEC, man, that is one of my biggest disappointing conferences this year. You talk about overrated. Auburn with that loss to Yale, the buzzer beater that Colorado just hit over Florida, and like I'm gonna say, like at least Tennessee took care of St. Peter's, but I mean you got South Carolina over Oregon as well. Mississippi State done beat Michigan and rolled over them. And Texas A&M, we'll see how they turn out. But yeah, the SEC is not having a good week, bro. It is not a good March Madness first round for those cats.
Mississippi
And I'm
State
not
lost to
ashamed. Yeah.
Michigan State, so there's that too. I mean, you know
Oh,
what,
they lost
Johnny?
to them.
Yeah, they lost. Mississippi
Oh
State lost to
shoot.
Michigan State. So,
Oh
and
no.
and man, you know what? That's crazy, Johnny. That I didn't even let you say the introduction. That's how upset and just disgusted and just my mind is literally because I'm a Kentucky fan.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I feel me.
I'm a big time Kentucky fan. So as you all know,
That's the one team I didn't mention. I was gonna let you mention them out there. Got that come.
but you know what? We're gonna because the main topic of this episode is gonna be centered around them, the coaching staff, and just everything about it. But we are gonna touch on some of the losses from the round of 64 that happened on Thursday, March 21st. At the time of this recording, it's Friday. So I mean, Michigan State beat Mississippi State 66 to
Yes, sir. That's what I
51.
meant to say.
BYU lost to. I had such a hard time pronouncing the college name. Dusky,
Yeah,
Dusky,
Deuce Ness. How
Dusky.
about that school too? Because they're
Yo,
making a run, and it's been a couple seasons for them. They
it
made a
has.
run.
So I'm not counting. Listen, Creighton. I mean, man, Trey Alexander.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Big East started early. Creighton had an early game with that, and they took care of business for sure.
Creighton handled Akron. Arizona beat Long Beach State. Kind of expected that. North Carolina beat Wagner.
Yep.
Illinois beat
Nor-
Morehead State.
Talk about North Carolina State, please.
Listen, North Carolina State, we didn't touch on them yet, but we're gonna get to them. We're gonna get touching on them too, because
Yeah, for
they
sure.
looking pretty dangerous too. So don't count them out. Oregon beat South Carolina, another SEC team that
Yep.
got beat in the first round. Dayton beating Nevada. I had Nevada beating Dayton. So that
Yeah, but
was
that game was like what?
yeah.
They were down 17,
They were down 17, and
and that
I
was a good game.
was
And talk
it
about a
was
comeback right
they
there.
came back, and when a team builds that kind of momentum coming back, kind of like what happened to us, when they
Mm-hmm.
start believing that they can win, is
Whew.
is kind of over at that point. Texas beat Colorado State, and Oakland beat Kentucky.
I thought Colorado State. They bust my bracket on that one. I had Colorado State beating
Texas?
Texas. Yeah, I
Nah,
did. I know they were ranked 10th. Texas was 7, but I like Colorado State over them.
I gave
But
the
that
edge
lack
to
of offense, bro, just lack of offense.
that
Lack
was
of
lack
offense.
of offense. I gave it to Texas. I give Texas a slight edge, not because Texas is like
Mm-hmm.
a super great team or anything this year, but it's like I just feel like Texas would be able to handle business. Gonzaga beat McNeese, that's
Yeah.
expected. Iowa
Illinois took
State,
care of business, right?
yeah, sure did. Illinois had beat
Oh,
Morehead State.
shout out to I forgot his name. Posted a triple double for Illinois on their way to that W. I forgot that. So I think it was a center. But
Uh,
yeah, when you haven't seen a triple double, I think since John Morant, Murray State in the first round.
Hold on a sec. Illinois.
Look
Cause
up the stats for that game. Did somebody get a triple
I
double on that?
it what? Let me see. Who had? I don't think. No, you wasn't wrong. Marcus Domask becomes the first player since Ja Morant to pull the triple double. Nope, he had 12 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists over Memorial State. Hey man, he might have put himself on the
Good
radar on a
game, young
few.
man.
He might have put himself on the radar on a few NBA teams. They might be looking at that. Maybe not this year. This year's a really weak draft, but who knows?
Mm.
Iowa State beat South Dakota State, so that was good. Tennessee beat the team that beat us 2 years ago. We got upsetted by them.
St.
Just
Peter's.
just to pour salt on the wounds.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, that
Just
hurt.
when Thursday
They made
couldn't be,
mincemeat of those guys. They made. Yeah, they did not play with their food in that game.
they did what we should have did 2 years ago. That's why this make that loss makes it even worse for why I'm just gonna rip. We'll get to that. Washington State beat Drake. I
Yeah,
actually had
yeah,
Drake
yeah.
beating
They
Washington State. I'm not gonna lie to
Drake
you.
almost got him.
Drake
Drake almost.
and that game was excited. I thought they just didn't make a few enough. They didn't get enough type of plays down the line
Yeah,
to.
sometimes the ball don't go down.
It's unfortunate. I mean, hell, Sanford just got outright robbed.
Yeah, they got robbed. I didn't like that
Like
game.
that was
I didn't like that one.
that was today. So but NC State beat Texas Tech 80-67.
Upset right there. Upset.
Ooh, NC State, man, and the guy that everyone was hyped to was hyped for, Burnt on NC
Yes, sir.
State didn't even really have a. It was he wasn't the
Yeah, well,
leading
he wasn't
scorer,
even a factor. He wasn't. He
right?
wasn't a
And
factor in the
that's
win. But
scary. That's scary.
them pull it
But
together. We'll see how far they can go.
so the main highlights of this first round, the round of 64, obviously Arizona, North Carolina
I
handled
about to say
business.
Arizona took care of business here.
Creighton handled business. Oregon, shout out to Dayton, doing
Mm-hmm.
what they did. They came and handled business. Gonzaga actually has an interesting matchup next tomorrow. They
Yep.
play. Who does Gonzaga play?
Zags got matched up with somebody. Was it
Gonz-
Cinderella?
Gonzaga would play Kansas. That's who I
No,
was thinking
Kansas.
of.
Yeah, Kansas.
So
So I wouldn't call them a Cinderella, but compared to the Zags, yes, definite underdog. But watch out for
I'm not
Kansas.
calling no program like Kansas a Cinderella. Knock it off. I'm
Nah, I'm
not
not
doing
calling
that.
them a Cinderella.
I'm not calling
Definitely,
no way.
I
This
like
is a
might be
no.
my favorite underdogs going into tomorrow.
Kansas.
They'll be underdog against the Zags, but Kansas is my favorite
I
underdog
mean, yeah,
going
they
into
lost
tomorrow.
Kevin. They lost Kevin to an injury. So
Yeah,
I
I think
mean,
he's
but
done for the year.
he is. But I can't give a program like Kansas underdogs. I don't know.
Zags, bro.
Maybe that's just me. But
The
but
Zags.
you know, listen. The two big takeaways of this first round loss pretty much is, well, Kansas definitely got lucky, and the rest definitely helped
That
them
Colorado buzzer
massively.
beater. Jeez.
That Colorado buzzer beater was just, man.
Sexton, I think his young boy name was. I forgot his name. I thought his
But
last.
but that block though, getting called for a foul,
Yeah,
outrageous. You can't make that up.
yeah.
Refs make bad calls all the time, but at that crucial point when you really, like, man, if I'm Sanford, I felt like I got robbed, and they should absolutely feel like that, and they were robbed. Everyone knows it. Shout out to Kansas, they played the game, but Sanford got robbed, and I don't want to take credit away from Kansas winning the game, but sheesh, when you lose like that, just give me your thoughts,
Eh,
Johnny. Just give
that's
me your thoughts.
that's what we love. That's why we're here. This is why you get. This is the best. Like I love tournament basketball because it's like NBA playoffs. That type of intensity, but it's times 10 because it's one and done. Like that's what makes it that much crucial. Like it really is decided in two halves.
Right.
And I'm telling you, it's a lot of teams ended up on the wrong side of the Cinderella story so far. One team in particular, but bruh, that's what this tournament is about. Effort, you never know, and most importantly, matchups. See, you are definitely an advocator of that. Matchups, and lack thereof will kill you.
Oakland matched up well. Oakland matched up well with Kentucky. but
Surprisingly.
Kentucky absolutely should have dominated Oakland. That's the part that's like
lot of screens, lot of off ball movement. They out basketballed you guys. That's what it
you.
seemed like it looked like. They out
So
basketballed you guys.
let me see. I want to look at a few more. Okay, so before I dive in on them, because I'm not because this is a collective loss, right? But we're gonna do so. I want to start. I'm gonna start little first, and then I'm gonna get to the top of the head, which is Cal, because he's the one that orchestrated this. He built this roster.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let you go ahead and you give me your thoughts, because we gotta dive into the main topic of the college basketball world, the main talk of the college basketball world. Kentucky busted everyone's brackets.
What the heck happened? Right?
They busted not everyone's brackets. If I apologize, it was like 0.00038% left.
Yeah, I
whatever.
remember that. Yeah.
Don't care. I really don't care. But that's what it is now. But give me your thoughts on Kentucky just being upsetted and just coming into that game. And I called you for emotional support 3 minutes left in the game. I couldn't believe that. I didn't know what I was watching. I didn't know how I was feeling besides just madness. But it's March Madness, right? Go ahead, Johnny.
You saw basketball, ladies and gentlemen. I watched it, so I tried to be there for my guy C for the emotional support. I called it at the end, and we was able to talk on the phone. And the few things that I saw, like, what a comeback! First of all, those last 2 minutes was exciting. Y'all started finally making shots at the end of the day. But listen,
shoulda, woulda, coulda.
It came down to free throws. But listen, throughout the game,
they didn't even make their free throws. That's the part that kills me.
They
didn't even make their free throws. So it's like
it came down to free throws in that time. But I was thoroughly, honestly, I was impressed. I was impressed with what I saw from Oakland, man. Like, you got to give it to this squad. They had a great game plan. That was some of the best off ball movement I have ever seen, like on the college level in a while. And I'm like, I wouldn't call myself a complete casual, says the casual, but at the end of the day, that is saying something. All right. Now, I'm telling you, one guy in particular, we got to say his name. We got to say Goki.
Say it.
We got to say his name. Mr. Goki. All right. Crazy. Mr. John Goki, JG, are you with me? 10 threes. I've been trying to explain to Collin, listen, see, y'all were just on a bad side of a Cinderella story, like I said before. He hit 10 threes. It's how he scored. You come at the defense, you talk about the lack of closeouts, you talk about the lack of adjustments, and maybe the matchups were right. It was the off-ball movement. It was the double screens that they had to fight through. It was him getting hot at the right time, embracing the moment, but at the same time, that was some of the best off-ball movement and drawn-up screens that I've ever seen.
No, absolutely.
They made it a mission to get this cat open, and maybe 4 or 5 of those shots were actually contested. They were actually contested. You guys were there to an extent. But, I mean, I'm telling you, that just doesn't happen. You guys had 11 turnovers plus. You guys take care of the basketball.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen, bro. Like, it just it was a better game plan. They knew they had the matchup. They knew that they had the shooters. You guys were more talented. You guys are more talented. You guys could have got them out of their rhythm, but you tried to get them out their rhythm early. I don't know, man. Oakland just had one of those games. They just had one of those games. They're a very good off-ball moving screen team, and it thoroughly impressed me. Thoroughly impressed me how they moved off the ball. They moved you guys to the left. Don't take it out on the team and the coach so much.
Oh, no, they absolutely no.
They came in there with a great game plan.
They did.
They hit 10
but
threes.
We didn't. That's the problem.
It's team oriented. Like, you don't score 10 threes on the college level. Nobody's Steph Curry here. Like, he got hot and got into the rhythm of the likes of such, but that was due to team-oriented game planning of getting him open in design plays.
You're proving my point, Johnny. That's all I'm saying.
Out his way.
You're proving my point, Johnny. You proving my point. You are. Listen, I'm letting you talk. You proving my point.
You're analyzing. It was all right. See, it was all right. JC was all right. John Calipari was okay. All right. I think he was okay. He was okay.
No, in the words of Chris, you're drunk.
But
you're drunk.
What did Shep say?
But keep going. Keep going. I'm letting
What did Shep say? You tell me what he said.
I'm not worried about him. He's a top. He don't care. He's gonna be a top 10 projected pick.
You
He
think he's
don't
leaving?
like. We
have a great coach. We have a great coach. He's not out there playing defense.
You really
he's not
saying
out there putting in effort.
you're saying he's a great coach
had a great game plan. It was a great game plan.
Okay.
I'm not blind to the fact.
So that's the thing. The coach Oakland came in with a great game plan, but we did. So that tells it all right there.
Y'all had a good game plan.
What game plan did you see? What was you seeing?
He's talking about execution. He's mentioning execution on the court. The game plan was not the problem. It was the execution. Like St. Peter's 2 years ago, it was the execution. Listen, if you look at it, right, you guys have had some of the best talent over the past 10 years. Like probably more than that. Since he signed that contract in 2018.
2019.
He had ammo, bro. He had
2019.
Ammo. 2019. It was going into 2019.
No, it was 2019.
That season,
he signed the contract.
Why'd y'all sign him in the first place? Because he knew how to coach. He knew how to draw plays. He's good with the clipboard.
I would never give Cal a lifetime contract.
Let's not take that away.
But I'm gonna give you that.
Don't take it away. Don't take it away. He's a good game planner. Your boy said it was down to execution. And I'm telling you, bro, the way that team got the way they got Koki open was just design plays or design offenses. They saw he was hot and just threw more screens at him. You can adjust, but your guy said they got to fight through.
Negative.
He said it's them not executing. They didn't blame the coach. We have a great coach. That's what he said. Go ahead, see. That's what he said.
So what you saying now, John? You know, I thought you was gonna have some strong arguments for me because you was trying to ride for Cal, and I'm like, you're proving my points. You only push my points forward.
Okay.
And this is my thing. You said all the talent he's brought in 10 years or more, right? He's been coaching. This is year 15 for Cal coaching at Kentucky, right? This is year 15 for coaching at Cal. His first 10 years at Kentucky was some of the best runs a coach has ever you'll probably witness in a long time. You're gonna give him credit. Before I get started on Kentucky, I will give Oakland credit. They came in and did what Kentucky didn't do, especially coaching. Cal got out-coached. He had 3 timeouts left. Didn't use not a single one when they was making their runs. Oakland's coach saw when every time Kentucky brought the game within 2, he made a timeout and made adjustments, and they would score. The difference of coaching was just, and
he played through.
It's not the first time Cal has been out-coached.
Not the first time he played through it.
Straight out-coached.
It's playing through momentum.
This year, he's been out-coached by remember, Kentucky had this season, they've never lost 3 games straight at home. They lost 3 games straight at home. Back-to-back losses in a matter of a week or 2. That comes down to coaching. Not making the adjustments. Yes, listen, the players are at fault because the players deserve some blame. I'm not just sitting there shitting on Cal. But Cal's the one who brought this roster. He constructed this roster. He's the one that said, I'm going to recruit these guys and bring them here. So he gets, whether it's fair or not, he gets the blame. Because you constructed this.
But he shouldn't get the boot.
He is. He needs to. But he is. But before we dive into that, though, Oakland does deserve a lot of credit. I'm not going to take that away from them because they took this seriously. Kentucky did. Let's just say it like that. They took it seriously. They played because they wanted to be in the tournament. Kentucky looked like they was like those guys looked like they were ready to get ready for the draft. They was ready for the draft. They wasn't ready for the game. Cal did this at the SEC tournament too. He said, and this is why I go back to coaching. Because when you're talking about coaching, your attitude, how you carry yourself, that carries over to the team. So when you go and say, the SEC tournament doesn't mean anything, it doesn't matter. Granted, if it doesn't or not, that's not the energy you put out there. Your players will reflect a coach's energy and how they, you can't talk like that, especially when you keep saying, this is how he says out of his mouth, Johnny, we're built for March. We're built for March. That was his slogan the whole year. March came. We bounced out the SEC tournament. Did you watch that game, Johnny?
I watched.
Did you watch that game? If you hadn't watched it, let me tell you.
Uh,
If you thought that was bad with Oakland, watching that SEC tournament game, that was a prelude. I'm telling people, that was a prelude to what was going to happen inside the first round. That was a prelude.
oh my God, no, what? Well, all right, well, look, if
That
he's
was a
got a,
prelude.
he's had a bad past 3 years. I will say he's had a
No,
bad
he's had a
past three
bad
years,
past 5 years. He's missed the
like what
tournament.
of early
He's
round
missed.
exits.
He's missed the tournament twice.
Well,
2020 and
tournament exits.
2021.
Yeah, so
He got
5 he didn't.
upset
So
it.
2
He
he didn't
got
miss, but the 3 he went. I'm talking about the early bounce outs.
that's still that's awful. You can't
Yeah,
justify that.
I'm saying yes, he's had. I'm playing your point, but it's leading to my question. So
All right.
I'm saying yes. Out of the past 3 seasons that he's made the tournament, 3 straight losses, 3 straight early round exits. I do understand that. Since he signed that contract in 2019, as you wanted to say, you guys only had maybe 1 tournament win, I think, which was pretty bad. And of course, the St. Peter's loss. I got to see. Let's listen here. John Calipari. Let's not let a. I don't think. I think the ratio was still in his favor as far as prestige, and on top of the fact that I don't
No.
believe. I don't believe that Kentucky has a successor. I don't think they have anybody that's willing to step up, ready to fill those shoes in a matter of next season with the talent that's still on that team. Number 2, he's got 5 years left on his contract. And if they were to buy him
I'm
out right
buying
now,
out.
if you want to just say
I'm
cut
buying
Cal,
out.
it's going to cost you $33 million. That's the
I would
buyout.
do it. Hey, Texas paid Jimbo Fish. Yo, they just paid him 75 mil to walk away. If now, granted, I will say the reason why I'm bringing up that comparison, but I'm thinking now Texas is a way bigger state than the state of Kentucky. The revenue they bring in is not, they make way more than the state of Kentucky. So maybe to a certain extent, maybe they can do something like that. But hey, they just forked up 75 mil to get Jimbo out of there. If they could fork up 75 mil to say, our football reputation, our program, the standard that we have, if you can't meet those standards, you don't need to be here anymore. And Cal's not meeting those. He hasn't met those standards for 5 years now. Did you watch? Okay, to go back, because
So,
like I said, I don't want to just blame Cal, but he deserves a lion's share of the blame. But it's not just Cal.
so you said the past 5 years he hasn't been playing that, and you made the comparison with Texas. I'm gonna talk about the coaches, and I'm gonna say that Texas coach is nowhere near John Calipari. I think that's the difference, and he gets more leeway than that Texas coach does. Number 2, I also believe that those
Really?
past five
I don't.
years,
Hold on.
I,
I gotta look up some things then if you think that's the case. Jimbo Fisher?
versus
Uh,
John Calipari, let's do a coaching record.
he. All right, you
And
right.
let's do a tournament record too, because I'm
You
curious
right.
about that. Because I feel like John Calipari and that, like you said, smaller market with Kentucky, him and that school, I
It's
think
not a smaller. It's not a smaller market by all means. Kentucky's the way. Kentucky is a big. Kentucky is an iconic brand, like how Duke is an iconic, like Duke, UCLA. I'm talking about in terms of like the state itself, the state of Kentucky. It might not amass enough. Like the donors probably wouldn't be able to put as much money as what Texas A&M would probably be able to put, because they if they could fork up 3 times as what Cal would probably be owed. I'm not seeing what would prevent them from not doing it.
if I'm Kentucky, I'm not surprised that they hold on to John versus that Texas situation, because even though it's the buyout is 33 mil, the buyout drops $6 million next year. It's actually cheaper to keep him. So, and they have no successor, and he's still got 5 years left on his contract. He's had 5 bad seasons versus how many of a season? 15 years
Okay,
of him being
okay,
with that team.
okay,
5 bad seasons versus
okay.
10 good years of actually better coaching.
What?
I think his
So
leeway holds a little bit more water than most coaches.
there's no leeway for him, because so
You
when you
can't
bring
talk about him
so
like he's a first year coach.
So when you bring up the argument of he's got all these players, right? He's got Shea Gillis, Jamal Murray, D Book, Carl
Tyrese
Anthony
Maxey,
Town, John Wall. You bring up all these guys, and
Rondo.
he only has one title to show for that. Now you look at coaches like Jay Wright, Bill Self, coaches that don't even have nearly half the talent Cal has had at Kentucky. They've all won more titles than him. Especially Jay Wright. He's won 2 titles in the span of 5 years. He won 3 titles in about 8 years. So what are we talking about?
Did Jay Wright put that team together?
Yes. And remind you, he never had, like, the amount of talent that Cal's had at his disposal. Jay Wright probably hasn't even had 50% of the talent Cal's had. And he's done way more than what if Jay Wright was coaching yesterday, Kentucky wins. Bill Self was coaching yesterday, Kentucky wins.
Maybe.
No. See, now you saying maybe. That's where you losing me at. Because it's not maybe when the facts is in our face. You can't advocate for him anymore.
You want to do facts, bro. The fact is, y'all can't afford it. It's cheaper to keep
we
him.
can.
You hold that buyout out
Yes,
till
we
next
can.
season. You find yourself a successor because you ain't got nobody that can fill a jockey. You cut him this year.
Listen, I'm at a point now.
Seeing the tournament next year.
No, that's fine.
Give me a backup
That's
coach.
fine. If we gotta suffer for the next 4 or 5 years, we let this guy go because he's not, and he doesn't care. Because look, let's go back. Let's go back to that contract. That's outrageous, giving that man a lifetime contract. I remember first hearing that, I was iffy on it. You don't give that man that type of power, or he has such a safety net underneath him to where you got to think about it. And as much as I'm saying Cal's got to go, you know how painful it is. You got to pay someone $33 million just to not coach your program.
The buyout.
That's outrageous. 75 too, but how do we get to this point? Is because, well, the lack of coaching and preparation once again. The roster construction, and even though this roster construction was pretty amazing in my opinion, you had freshmen at the end of the day who ended up turning into freshmen when you needed them the most.
That was the difference. Those aforementioned coaches had seniors on their team.
They had freshmen too. But and then his post-game conference was even more outrageous because you're blaming it on the youth. Well, who constructed the roster?
I wasn't mad at it.
Who made the roster? Who made it?
It's a
who
shame.
made it?
I actually agree with the part that he said it's a shame that they're gonna sum this whole season up according to this game, and it doesn't.
As they should. They should, because that. Hey, this is what he said. March is what matters. We're built for March.
You're right.
You can't say that and then deliver a performance like you can't say that. You can't say that and deliver that type of performance.
They got outperformed than delivered a performance.
They got outcoached, outperformed, out-toughed. You let a 6'6", 6'5", 6'6" guy out. We had 3 7-footers. Why is not one of them even touched 8, 7 rebounds beside Trey Mitchell? Trey Mitchell probably didn't even have 8 rebounds. He's only 6'9", 6'8". We got 3 7-footers. Their biggest guy was 6'7", 6'8". We couldn't out rebound those guys? Are you kidding me? What are we doing? What are we talking about?
That just comes down to effort.
Boxing out rebound. It's like you saw the video I sent you.
Yeah, boxing but these are all things that your player is saying. Same thing with the video. There was a segment in that video. Collin has sent me a video to our people, to our viewers. He sent me a breakdown of Kentucky's lack of defense with that game, and it's a very good segment. We should add it to the link if these guys want to look at it.
Oh, I absolutely
It's a good reference, but it was basically a breakdown. We were watching film of that loss, and a lot of times that we saw Kentucky was sucked in a lot. Pause.
Nah, I got you.
They was playing the paint too. They was too close in. They was playing the paint too much, giving too much space to the corner shooters, and they were just basically working them from inside out. Pause. They had the ball, high foul line, kickouts to the corner, 3 feet, 4 feet away. You're not closing out in time. They're making those shots. And at the end of the day, it comes down to player. That's lack of execution. That's player effort or lack thereof.
No,
You think
it
Calipari's
is. It
not
is.
telling them to
It
watch the
is.
shooters?
No,
You think
I'm
he's
with
not
you.
yelling corner, corner, corner?
I'm with you. I
I
watched
mean,
him yell and scream, but then again, like I said, Cal deserves the blame just because at the end of the day, you put this roster together and then you say we're built for March. March comes, you give a stinker in the SEC tournament, then you follow it up with an even more outrageous performance.
right.
There's no justifying that.
All right. Well,
Now, let's get to the players now. Let's get to the players. let's because Reed Shepard. I mean, come on, man. Like, I hate that for him. I hate that's how his season ends.
There go his draft stock.
Definitely. And I would think it took a hit because all the flaws you were worried about Reed Shepard as an NBA prospect was on full display on that game. And if I'm a GM, you got to think to yourself, what is his real ceiling at this point? Because I don't think he'll ever be a star in the league. I could be wrong. We could
He
look
could
back
work
at this
himself
year.
into a high role player.
We can look at this 6 years later. Maybe I'll be wrong about this. But I don't see him being nowhere as like some kind of star in the league. He'll be, like you said, a high role.
Yeah.
He's a guy you want on your team because he's gonna make the necessary adjustments on your team as a player, I guess. I would assume. But he played awful. That alley-oop pass when you're down 2. Like what's going on? No adjustment.
That would have tore the roof off the. Come on. That would have tore the roof off the building.
That's not high IQ.
He makes
basketball.
that.
That's not high IQ basketball.
Well, Calipari,
at least not in that time. Not in that. That's when you do that.
Yeah. I will say I ain't gonna far that might fall a little bit on coaching because for them to think that they have that freedom to do that in that situational basketball.
Okay.
Situational basketball because
you
shouldn't even have them even thinking that that's okay to do.
Didn't call timeout then too.
Whether you see it or not. He plays through momentum. I'm not mad at him with the lack of timeouts.
No,
all year long, y'all play through, y'all don't call
He's
timeout.
cost us 2 games by not calling a timeout this season. And now to think this is when it would come rear its ugly end again in the tournament? Oh, that was like the nail in the coffin. It's like, Cal. But then the players.
Yeah.
Look, I got to get this ring. I'm a Kentucky fan. And I know this is, you want to defend Cal. You think this isn't as bad. You're not a Kentucky fan. But this, DJ Wagner, is got to be by far the most disappointed top 5 high school recruit I've seen since Isaiah Briscoe. So this is for Kyrie. So this is for Kyrie and Lodge.
Let's go. What a name drop.
Like, the most and I watched DJ Wagner play, and I'm like, I'm convinced promises were made behind the scenes. Because you had 2 top 10 lottery picks off the bench. Why are they off the bench? Why are they when they've outplayed him all year? It's not even just they were significantly better than DJ Wagner this whole year. He should have been coming off the bench. But hey, I guess it worked out for them because they turned themselves into lottery picks. But where's DJ Wagner's stock? He's not. He a first rounder? No. Second rounder? That's where not just that performance, the whole season. He's not a first rounder. What scouts looking at him and saying that's a first round guy? Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be real. Let's just be real.
And this is a weak draft too.
And it's a weak draft.
Guard could sneak into the first round.
He's playing so often.
He might get late first. He might still get a late first.
I mean, hell, if he do well in the combine, the private individual workouts, maybe. But
it's going to come down to draft stock. But he beats Oakland and he's good. I'm telling you, bro. It was a bad wrong side of a Cinderella story, Brody. Wrong side of a Cinderella story.
Antonio Reeves played awesome. I hate it for him. He played his heart out. He won't be back because he already exhausted his whole. He can't come back. Trey Mitchell can't come back. Rob Dillingham, he's leaving. He's a top. They got him like number 3, so he's leaving. Like, he's not coming back. Reed Shepard, is probably the most interesting one in my opinion. He's a projected lottery pick. I don't think he's ready for the NBA though. Like, I don't think is he a lottery pick? Yes.
Yeah.
But if you really, really dive into it, is he really ready for the league? I mean,
Flip your camera, see.
Webbing?
Flip your camera right quick.
Flip my camera? Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Can't believe it. I see. I'm so agitated. I flipped the camera, guys. How long was my camera flipped? That's crazy.
Like maybe less than a minute, maybe over
I
30
was
seconds.
that's how upset I am. So you guys know how I'm feeling with Kentucky losing. This is outrageous.
But listen,
it's
Kemp's
this
gonna be all right.
it's disgusting.
Kentucky's gonna be okay. Calipari, don't be mad. See, I'm just
It's
telling
over
you.
with.
I'm not
It's over
I'm
with.
not advocating. I'm just analyzing. And
It's
the
over.
analytics say it's cheaper to keep the man right now. He's
It's
still
over.
under. It's 5 more years.
How?
You ain't got no.
Let
You
me
got
ask
no.
you.
You
How
better
low?
pick up. You better pick up a gym teacher right
Yes, I
now,
do.
and I
Yep.
understand that.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
understand that.
We
But
might f around and do something.
and you don't even care about waiting for the buyout to get cheaper next year. You'll take the 33
Yeah.
million cut.
I've seen enough in
And
5 years
I
for me to
totally
know
understand it.
where this is going now.
Yeah.
Like I see like we got to get off the train at some point, right? We know this train is good. Like we know where this is going, right? Why
They're
are we?
calling for his head. They
Why?
are Kentucky radio stations,
Oh
sports
yeah.
radio,
What?
college
I was
campus.
watching so many. I wanted to feed off the Kentucky anger today, so I watched so many people, and it's like, yeah, a lot of yeah. So and so I came at Cal. I'm coming at the players now. The athletic director, he's the one. Now, if we really want to sit there and say who really should be getting the most blame, you gave Cal that outrageous contract. You gave Cal that contract. He lost his hunger. He lost his drive. He lost his commitment. When you think about it, because think about it, you got such a safety net. You're making 10 mil. For them to fire you, to get you to walk away, they got to pay you
33.
twice as more.
33
How
million
much
buyout.
of a shit? If I'm sitting on that type of safety net, hey, maybe I wouldn't care as much. Hey, you know what? You guys do what you want. I wouldn't care as much maybe because I know I'm in a safe place regardless of what happens. Kentucky's the one that's really effed.
But your name is John Calipari, and you have a legacy to protect.
Oh
You
no,
forget
no,
about
no.
that.
I mean, well, listen, he can't be the legacy ends at Kentucky. He may have to go somewhere else.
And
I'm
I was
here.
going to ask you that. See, that actually segues into it. I say all that, and we say both of our pieces for me to ask this question. Like, so you really think that was his last time coaching? That was his last game coaching as Kentucky? And honestly, if so, was that his last game coaching, period? But I'm going to ask the first one now. Was that his last game coaching for Kentucky? Given the contract stipulations, given the legacy, given the 3 straight season tournament first round exits, given the talent, given everything said and done, was that his last game for Kentucky?
I would hope so. I mean, I would. I mean, so this is the thing. My personal answer: get him the f out of here. Like, buy that contract, let
You
him
gonna
walk
start
off.
you'll start a GoFundMe to cover that money.
I would. I would. And I would like take out some good amount of my life savings. I would. But me personally, he needs to go. Realistically speaking, he may be back for year 16. Just because Kentucky's in such a lose-lose position. And that's why I think he doesn't care. Like I forgot to tell you, and I don't know how recent this was. Maybe it might have been during when they was reacting to the tournament when they was getting their bids. It might have been maybe after the SEC or before the SEC when they lost.
Uh,
He said one thing that was really telling to his state of mind. That he said, and I forgot when it was the tournament before the tournament, but he said, "What's the worst that they can do? Fire me?" He kind of laughed at it, kind of made it a joke. And I laughed a little bit, but then I really let it die down and digest in my
well,
head. And I said, all good jokes got some truth to it.
yeah, that's
Look
the
how
old fashioned saying, yeah.
Look how
He is
comfortable.
cocky for that one. That is
Look right. Look how comfortable you gotta be to make a
Ew.
joke like that. Oh, what's the worst that can happen? I get fired? Well, most cases, yes. Of course not for you. You're sitting on 33 mil if you get fired or you get bought out. So shit, that's what? That's the worst thing that can happen to you?
Yeah.
So that was really telling. Like that really signified his mindset. Like, oh, he doesn't care.
And yeah, and that might go to the front. Yeah, GM.
He doesn't
You gave this man
care.
that contract. Yeah.
You
Gave that
get
man
and
that.
that's back to the athletic director. What? Me personally, I would never give a man that much power to begin with. 3-4 years, a lifetime contract. What? And it's like,
I'm crying. All right, C. All right.
it's so. I
in
feel
a
like
nutshell,
I feel like I didn't even say half of the stuff. It's so much I want to say
you
more,
let it.
but I'm gonna end it at that. I'm gonna end it at that because I don't even.
You let it out. Hey,
It's
listen.
disgusting.
In a
It's
nutshell,
disgusting.
though, we is gonna cut it. But
But
in a nutshell, I gotta say,
if Cal
C.
comes back,
Yeah, I'm telling you that, and I'm just saying, like, don't get mad, bro. One thing about him, you guys can turn the season around. Can we
no.
say that?
If Cal,
Like he gets the team together, bro. You
no,
gotta
no, but
understand what the Cinderella
okay.
story is in March Madness.
No,
Like
no,
it
no. I
happens.
understand Cinderella stories, but this Cinderella story was a mixture of more so the lack of preparation on the Kentucky's end. Because if you really watched them play, you would they didn't even look like they knew which shooter to guard outside
Yeah.
of
And
like
and
it
honestly,
was
I'm and I mentioned that, but I mentioned that in a different way. But I gave it to Oakland, bro. I said that's just great off ball. That was a great game plan. My God, like I've never double screens. You're fighting through double screens off ball after he start. They had Goakland on the opposite end of the corner. He goes underneath the court, swings around. It's a double screen on that left side. He's coming up on the corner. Like that's like and the closeouts, like I said, were still there. Like 4 or 5 of those shots that he took out of those 10 threes were contested. And it just happened, bro. You guys were
three out
there.
of
Just
like 3 to 4 were contested, but this guy only took two. Like this guy
bad
doesn't
side of
even
the Cinderella, but I'm telling you,
This
don't.
guy doesn't even shoot twos. You know how he's gonna
Yeah, I
move
think he's got like
offensively.
what 8 2 point two
Right.
point field
Like
goal attempts,
you know how to
and
like
he's
if
a
you know
senior too.
that
So
if you know that I'm not saying he can't have 10 3 pointers, but if only 3 were contested out of the 7 that he shot, what does that tell you then?
he goes 7 for 10. You guys might still win.
And
He goes 7 for 10 from 3 point line. You guys might pull that out.
and this is my thing back to the players.
Oh.
So like you said, you don't want to give Cal too much, but he deserves a lion's share to blame. But I gotta be honest with you. DJ Wagner, in my opinion, such a massive disappointment. Should he come back to
He'll
Kentucky?
stay. He'll come back. He'll
I
definitely be
don't
back.
think he's gonna stay. That's the part. Like he's not gonna stay. They got another 5-star point guard coming in. Cal told him he's gonna have the Lamborghini. He's gonna have the keys to the Lamborghini. You can't tell the 5-star guy you told him that, and then you come bring. Someone's got to leave. Someone's gonna have to leave. Either that high school recruit decommits, or you run it back with Wagner. I don't know which is the better option. I would assume running it back with Wagner, but I don't think he wants to. He wants to go to the NBA. He doesn't care.
Yes,
Justin
sir.
Edwards.
Time to get paid.
Justin Edwards. They were saying this guy was going to be the number one pick in the draft beginning of the season. How
Yeah.
far, how wrong they were. Not only was he not even close to being number one pick, he's a guy that he's not even the first round pick at this point.
Wasn't in my mock. He wasn't in mock draft we
Does
did.
he need to come back, Johnny?
Not number one anyway.
Does he need to come back, Johnny? Yes, he
Yeah, he better bring his
absolutely needs
behind
to
back to
come
school.
back.
Back to school.
Reed
Faux
Shepard.
show.
This the one I
Triple
genuinely
go.
don't know about
But
Reed
you're
Shepard.
mad. I mean, you're mad at him because he defended Cal. So he
No,
came in.
I'm not.
He that's it.
Listen.
I see accountability, and I see maturity right there.
See, no,
He
I'm
ain't out
not
there
mad at.
executing.
I'm not. I'm
Ken
not
out there
mad at
defending, he
Reed,
ain't out there scoring. It's up to
and
him.
that's fair point. I never disagree with that point. I've never disagreed with that. I'm not mad at Reed for defending Cal. I'm more so upset that Cal, once again, it falls on Cal. These guys, you have 2 projected lottery picks. Who has that in the college game, right? Who has 2 guys that you go in a mock draft? They're like 5 and 6, 3, 4, and 5. Like, who has that coming off the bench? Why are they not starting? That's why I said promises were made. You made a promise to this guy, DJ Wagner, whoever you talk to, dad, whatever, who in his background, and he stunk it up this whole year. And now he never fixed the roster. He never found a lineup. This is my 5 guys. This is who I'm gonna roll with. This is who's gonna win me a game. He never figured it out. Ever. So that's not coaching. Most teams by at least the middle of February, they know who their 5
They
guys is.
adjusted. He figured
Cal
it out
never.
enough to get you guys into the tournament because y'all climbed. How many spots did y'all jump? Like in that past February? Y'all went
We
up high,
was
see?
we
Y'all
was
started
we
off. I
was
forgot where
we
was
was
y'all at?
but listen, regular season is fine, but when you say we're built for March, it's all about March. Hey, the regular season don't seem that much.
He put his
Do
foot
it.
in his mouth with that one. He put
Do
his
it.
foot in his mouth with that one, bro. Cal will be back, see?
But okay, but listen,
Don't
this is
go
my
at him.
thing. If Cal comes back, I don't care about the regular season. I don't care what he does from November to February
It's
and
gonna
the beginning
define
of
March.
March.
Like
Because he could have the most outstanding season and he comes back next year. But I'm still gonna be terrified when March comes because why? We've been upsetted twice in the first round. The teams we absolutely should have dominated. We missed the tournament twice in those 5-year spans. And the one time we had some kind of success, we only made it to the second round. And the only reason why we made it to the second round was because Providence basically was playing a coach who knew he didn't want to be here and he was gonna leave after the game was over. So he had no motivation. The guys played like they didn't have no motivation. Besides maybe 1 or 2, they played their ass off, but we won because of that. It was more so outside factors, more so than us. So it's like
Cal executed that game. You can still lose with outside factors. He executed. You got to give him something.
No,
Give him
Oakland
something,
played
see?
well, but Cal didn't
Yeah.
execute a goddamn thing. Excuse my language. He didn't execute nothing. But let's move on, man, because it's just upsetting to talk about this guy. And listen, I'm gonna be paying attention to what, because it has to be brought up. It has to be some conversation down the line where Kentucky, the athletic director, whoever is involved, they got to sit down and try to make this work. Like, okay, so the only peaceful resolution to this is if Cal resigns or he personally says, hey, I'll give up this amount of money to make it work for you guys. And I don't know Cal from Mechanic Paint. You don't know Cal from Mechanic Paint. None of us know him from Mechanic Paint. But he doesn't strike me as a guy that'll leave money on the table.
Nah.
That's me personally. He doesn't seem like that.
Been around. That's fine. All right, well, yeah, he'll appreciate that. Hi, see? You feel better, brother? You feel better?
But go ahead.
You feel better, brother?
But no, Duke just won 2. So no, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. Duke handled business like we should have, and we're better than Duke. We got the better roster than Duke. That's the worst part. All right, let's get to the next. So Friday right now, Baylor today just beat. So Baylor just beat Colgate. I mean, not beat, just beat them, but they beat Colgate. Northwestern beat Florida Atlantic. San Diego State beat UAB. Marquette beat Western Kentucky. UConn.
They better have, because Western Kentucky was on a run too.
They was on a
watch
run.
out. Western Kentucky had a nice little win. With their last.
I wanted to root for Kentucky so bad. I was gonna root for Western Kentucky, but F it. Clemson beat New Mexico. Colorado.
Yeah, that was good.
Florida and
I had
Colorado,
that. So
man.
where we at?
Colorado
it
and
so
Florida is
far?
crazy. Yale beat Auburn, so Nebraska,
Yale beat
Texas
Auburn. You
A&M.
said Clemson took New Mexico?
Yeah,
All right,
Clemson
that
beat
was
Colorado beat Florida on a buzzer beater. That was tough.
yeah. Nevada beat Boise State,
And,
Colorado State, Utah
and
State.
Duke beat Vermont.
No,
And right now we're just the only game that
so
hasn't
wait,
played yet is St. Mary's and Grand Canyon. They don't play until 10:05 p.m. on
all
True
right.
TV.
Nevada and Dayton,
Utah,
they played already. Nevada and Dayton played.
no, no, I don't, no, not that I think of. Nevada and Dayton, no, Nevada, Dayton, Oh, Nevada and Dayton did play.
Who won that?
They did.
Because I
Dayton
was
won. I
looking at
told you
that.
that. Yeah, I was. You had me looking at the wrong. No, I'm talking about. I thought you was talking.
No, yeah, because that was a 10-7 seed. I was interested in that game.
I was so focused on Vermont and Duke. Like
I had Nevada
I
on
was
the
so
upset.
focused.
Oh, Vermont and
Yeah,
Duke, yeah.
but
But
yeah,
yeah,
but Duke won that matchup. But I
yeah,
don't know
Duke
why I was
took
so
that.
focused on Vermont and Duke. I don't know why.
No, that was a
But
good drawing. Duke took care of business, but I was looking for the upset from Nevada over Dayton.
I mean, Purdue is whipping Graham. I mean, as they should. I don't think
It'll be
that
them in
should either.
Tennessee.
That wasn't Alabama and Charleston. Like, come on now. That wasn't. I mean, San Diego. Yeah, like I said, so far, listen. Saturday is gonna be crazy, man, because
Yes,
this is
sir.
the because this is
My
what it's
brackets
looking
are
like.
busted, but my parlays can still live.
This is what it's looking like on Saturday. This upcoming Saturday tomorrow, man. You got North Texas playing Seton Hall. Well, excuse me, that's the NIT. Excuse me, but
Come on, Nova. No, Nova lost. Never mind.
we got Michigan State versus North Carolina. Boy, is that hell of a game right there tomorrow.
Yeah.
5:30 p.m. CBS.
Yep.
I'm definitely watching
This where it
that.
gets good, baby.
You
Gets
know
even
that
better.
I'm definitely watching that. Like you know that I'm so in tune to that game. You don't even imagine. Gonzaga versus Kansas. I'm more in
Yep.
tune to
Kansas
that
and
game.
Zags. That's the two. I already had that circle.
Like Washington State versus Iowa State. I won't
Yep.
probably be tuning into that much. Oakland NC State. I'll be watching that game for a
Yep.
lot of reasons.
Yep.
I want to see if he can recreate that magic like he did against us. I want to see if it's a one-time, one-hit wonder with this guy.
And you'll see what I'm
Gook.
talking about when it comes to the Cinderella stuff. It happens, bro.
I feel like they're not going to shoot as well like they did against us. I just got
Nobody
a
does.
feeling.
Nobody does.
NC State
Better
is
than
very, very interesting. A former assistant coach is on there. His name is Joel Justice. So
okay.
that's always nice to see, a guy make it
There
out
you
from
go.
the
Ongoing
program.
success.
Texas versus Tennessee, another matchup I'm kind of
Yeah.
actually looking
I think
forward
I'm
to.
waiting for Tennessee. I'm waiting for Tennessee Purdue because
So
I'm waiting for Tennessee and Purdue. I got
you're waiting for
Texas.
that.
Yeah, I'm wait. I got Tennessee beating Texas tomorrow. I'm waiting for Tennessee and Purdue because I had Texas losing to Colorado State. They bust my ticket, bust
Man,
my bracket. But hey, see,
my
this is
head
what we
hurt.
live for, baby.
My
It's looking
Mark,
good. I can't wait for the
no,
next one.
I don't live for this madness. This is
Come on.
I didn't want to experience this madness again two
Nova didn't
years
even
later.
make it. I'm mad too.
2 years later, we experienced. I thought losing St. Peter's was the worst thing ever. Losing this
They were a
yesterday?
15 seed too.
Oh my god!
Wasn't
This
Oakland
was
higher?
out there by 1 seed, 14 seed.
Oh, they're
Like
14.
they were. It's
Ooh, that's bad.
out. You see how bad you
It's the
lose to
game.
15,
Come on, Steve.
then
Come
you
on,
lose to a 14 seed.
come on,
Unacceptable.
Steve.
Unacceptable. Like I said, you're gonna defect, and like you said, back to the original question before we move on to our predictions for some of these matchups. You said, do I think Cal's gonna come back? Honestly speaking, what coach could they replace Cal with? Like you said, and which is the truth too. Like what coach is better than Cal that they could replace? Like they don't have any. Like who do you go to? Who's the next coach? There's not really a better coach you can go like Sean Miller. I mean, no. Uh, Eric Musselman,
Harry
no.
Musman,
Chris Beard, no. Uh, at this point, you're only like you can't even go with Drew, the Baylor head coach. He just said, "I love Baylor. I like it. You know, he loved it. Like you can't reach out to him." Uh, Kentucky's in the worst position ever because you move forward, it's shitty. You move backwards, it's even more shitty. Like, there's no way.
Purgatory.
It's only Cal would have to just be like, okay, let me just resign. And then what? And as much as I'm trashing Cal, Johnny, if Cal left Kentucky, there's a team that would absolutely grab Coach Cal. That's like but then again, what big schools? Now you got to factor in this. If you get Cal, you're gonna look at his history, 5 seasons, and this guy, like Kentucky, just paid this guy $33 million to walk back. What can we offer Coach Cal that he hasn't been offered at Kentucky? Is he worth offering that when he's had the best of best resources at Kentucky and he hasn't done anything with it? So is he worth the hire? Like coaches, like programs would have to give a real, like they would think twice about hiring this guy. Is he worth it or not?
Yeah. Okay. So shoot, you're feeling like it might be his last game coaching period. Shoot.
I mean, listen. Me personally, reality is he'll probably be back, Johnny. But I'm gonna be real with you. If you don't have a relationship with your athletic director, because it's been reported that him and the athletic director of Kentucky, Mitch Martin, they don't have a relationship no more. The fans is completely done with you, right? You've let down the entire Kentucky program. Like, it's hard for me to see if he was still back here. But I wouldn't be surprised because it's like if he comes back, it's kind of like, well, they were kind of forced to bring him back because there's no other solution.
Yeah, not right now.
I mean, you could just say F and just go into a rebuild. Like, I'm all for a rebuild. I'm a Sixers fan. I'm a Sixers fan. We Sixers fans. We've been trusting the process.
We stay with Dynamite.
Listen, I don't mind if we got to suffer 4 or 5 years.
We stay with Dynamite. We good for blowing it up.
Mediocrity. How long do you accept? How long do you accept the mediocrity? Like, he's the Doc Rivers of college basketball.
Great call, see, and that's fine. Great call.
So let's move on. Like, yeah, let's enough with Calipari because but let's get to these matchups. So, what matches are you looking forward to the most? What I just named from Dayton, Arizona, Gonzaga, Kansas.
Zags and Kansas, I already had that circle. So that was my favorite matchup so far. I want to see how if Zags can just keep knocking off these underdogs. But in Kansas, I'm telling you, you can't call them an underdog, but I'm telling you, they are technically because of the rank, Zags are gonna be favored on like FanDuel and sports betting and the cards and stuff. But as far as opponent, this is their biggest underdog that they're going against. I really like Kansas. I like even with their who got hurt. I forgot their best player that was averaging because we talked about him in our mock draft.
Kevin. Who you talking about?
We talked about him in our mock draft. Kansas got this out for the year.
Kevin. I think you talking about Kevin. Kevin.
Yeah.
Was it a mock draft or was he the lottery?
Yeah,
you had him in your lottery.
But his stock dropped because he got hurt for the year. But I remember him for our mock draft. I remember I talked about him then. But even without him, I'm saying I still like Kansas. I'm still going to be looking at Kansas to go at Zags. That's going to be funny. Like even without him, like playing, I'm still looking at them to compete and go against Gonzaga. I like Gonzaga in the tournament. They just seem to turn up, and they seem like that momentum that they just have. It seems like they're just never a fluke. It always seems like they can crack like the Final Four every time they get into the tournament. But so I'll be looking forward to them too in Kansas. I like that. North Carolina State though, North Carolina State and Oakland. That game just added like another 100 million viewers because of what Oakland did. Like that game wasn't going to have any viewers. Like the views and the over unders for that then jumped up in like the past 10 hours, 12 hours. Like I'm
Listen,
for it though. But Kansas and Jags, see, we gotta circle that one. Let's pay attention to that one.
I'm
Kansas
looking
and the
forward to
Jags
it.
for me.
I'm looking forward. So this is
Yes,
my
sir.
so this is my predictions. If we're gonna have to do predictions for this upcoming so I'm gonna say at a date in Arizona, I would expect Arizona to win.
Mm-hmm.
Gonzaga and Kansas. Kansas to me has too many problems
Ah.
and injuries, but hey, they Kansas. I wouldn't count them out just because
Mm-hmm.
they're Kansas, right? You just don't count out Kansas. You just don't.
Crispy.
But I'm gonna go with Gonzaga. I'm gonna say Mark Few is gonna make some necessary adjustments to how to approach this game, how to
Mm-hmm.
attack this game, and Mark Few is obviously a good coach. I mean, here's another like, do you look for Mark Few? For Mark, you know, like the Gonzaga coach. You know what I mean? For Cal, like what? Like I don't know. Like
He
at
done
this
went back.
point, anybody gotta like anyone has a shot in my opinion. Because Cal's gotta go. But not let's not make it about him. But Mark Few is gonna make the right adjustments. I think Gonzaga wins this game. Now
Okay, now.
Michigan State and North Carolina. Realistically speaking, North Carolina seems like the easy choice, but something's telling me not to count out Tom Izzo.
Izzo,
Um,
right?
yeah, something's telling me not to count out Tom
I was about
Izzo.
to say, I got
And
listen, there's a saying, January, February, Izzo. And I'm with it. You talk about John Calipari, talk about we're built for March. Izzo, brother. I like
but
his I like his moxie when it
but
comes
his,
to approaching these tournaments.
but he's had such an up and down season full of
He does.
inconsistency where it's like you don't know, but he has put a string of getters like before tournament time. He put a string of games together, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would say North Carolina, but I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan State effed around and got the upset here. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised.
All right, all right.
Washington State and Iowa State. I think Iowa State got it in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see what. I mean, Isaac. I mean, Keyshawn Gilbert. I think he's gonna play well. I just feel like this is Iowa State's. I mean, I don't know. They played progressively well throughout the year. You've watched them
Mm-hmm.
develop throughout the year. They definitely turned themselves into a strong tournament team that could. I mean, they could F around and make the Elite Eight. Um, Oakland and NC State. Oof, now this is a matchup I'm gonna really be paying attention to, just for a lot
NC,
of reasons.
NC State.
Um, can can the Miracle Boy, the Miracle Man, excuse me, because he's a fifth year senior. He's a fifth year senior.
He's also knocking down full court shots in practice. That was a heck of a clip. I'm gonna send it to
He
you
sure
later, see.
did. No, I watched it. I've been following him. He went from 500 followers to like over 10K after beating us, and it's such a bittersweet feeling, man. But if you was to ask me, I don't think he recreates that again against us. I think NC State is absolutely learning from our demise. They won't make the same mistakes that we created against them. Um, but if Oakland wins, hey, power to them. But I think NC State takes the ice in the cake. I think they win
Yeah.
this game.
They stay hot, baby. They stay
They're
hot.
gonna make the necessary adjustments to combat whatever because yeah, Texas versus Tennessee. I'm gonna go with Tennessee. You got an NBA draft pick in Dalton connect the dots, the connector. Um, I think, and then Zakai Ziegler, Josiah Jordan, they could probably make. This is a team. They got the pieces. Rick Barnes, he's looking to make the Elite Eight, Final Four.
Mm.
He's never made in the Final Four or Elite Eight. So this is where Rick Barnes could finally make some changes, and
Yep.
maybe this is the team that could get him over that hump. So I got
Yep.
Tennessee.
I agree.
Illinois should win that matchup, in my opinion. But
David, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Dusk won. I wouldn't be surprised. Uh, Oregon and Creighton.
That I got Oregon for the upset. I'm calling it now.
Now this is one of those where I'm like another game I'm gonna be watching tentatively because this is gonna be a hell of a matchup in itself.
Waiting for that one.
Oof.
Will Oregon upset Creighton? And I say yes.
I want to rock with you and say yes too. I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to rock
They
with you and
played South Carolina very well, bro. Number
they
two
they
ranked.
they hit like yo. Lamont Pierce was probably the best coach I've watched in the SEC this
Oof.
past year, and to see him look like to see South Carolina get treated like that was kind of like, sheesh. Oregon, they ain't come around to play. They came
Mm-hmm.
to. I mean, not they ain't coming around to play.
Yeah.
And then and
So
then Jermaine, he dropped 40. So it's like, is he gonna drop that again? Probably not. But man, Oregon's,
yeah.
they're playing
So
well, man.
who you got? See, with them and Creighton.
I'm gonna say Oregon, man, just because they handled South Carolina like that. South
Okay.
Carolina was a disciplined team that
Yeah.
was coached by an amazing coach. They had the offense and defense. They had the balance, and they got handled by Oregon. So, I mean, I'm gonna roll with Oregon. But Creighton, to me, you just don't. They got Trey Alexander. They got some nice guys. They had the
They
transfer
handled
Baylor.
business early on
They
Thursday
had they
night.
had the transfer from this offseason Baylor, and he's not playing like how he did before he transferred, but he's definitely a great piece to what Creighton has going on, and he's been one of the most consistent shooters. So it's like, um, I don't want to sleep on Creighton, but I'm gonna go with Oregon, man.
All
But
right.
Creighton does have, some guys, some dudes that they could really rise up to that. They got some guys, Johnny. I'm not gonna lie, they got some guys.
All right.
So what's your thought, Johnny?
Yeah, yeah. I had Oregon. I called that off my upset. It was Kansas and Oregon game that I had circled from the beginning. That was my other backup game. I was waiting for you to say Oregon versus Creighton. I like Oregon. They stay hot. The way they handle they seem more mature. The way they handle the higher ranked teams. I don't think Creighton. I'm not going to say they were as tested as them, but I like Creighton. But I'm taking Oregon for the upset. This tournament's all about it. Like, bruh, I love it, bro. I love it.
Listen,
Only
man.
team that looks like a sure thing is probably like maybe Arizona out of these next matchups.
I'm just, I'm just, I'm just, I'm just
Oh
shocked.
God.
I'm really utterly disgusted with.
Take it
I'm
down,
just
Sid.
disgusted.
Take it down, Sid. Have
I'm
a beer and watch
disgusted.
some film.
I don't even drink. I don't even drink. I've never drunk alcohol. I don't. I think alcohol. I tried it one time. I thought it was disgusting. I think alcohol in general is disgusting. I don't even like wine, so I will not be drinking. I tried to sleep it off after they lost. I couldn't even go to sleep, Johnny. I'm not gonna lie to you. I
So
was on
Texas.
Twitter. I was on Twitter the whole time, just reading all the Kentucky fans' anger because I was
Oh,
angry because it was unacceptable. It was
and you had to
unacceptable for them to
sleep on it.
lose.
Hardest sleep of your, and you had to sleep on it. Oh,
I couldn't even. I ain't sleep till 3 a.m. that day. Couldn't even sleep. So angry. Thank God I didn't take that bet on FanDuel. Kentucky was a 15, 14 point favorite. I was gonna take that bet and something told me not to take it. I don't know why. And I'm so glad I didn't.
and me. Well,
I'm so
we'll
glad
keep
I
this
didn't.
going. See, we're gonna keep this going. We're gonna see who else is getting their heart broken.
Listen, we'll come back on Monday with a whole because the weekend will be concluded and we'll have our full bracket of teams that are left. The teams that they made it, they survive in advance, and the teams they end up going home. They weren't able to make it out the weekend, and yeah, man, this is and I hate to bring this up again, Johnny, because but for all the Kentucky fans out there, Coach Cal is an amazing guy. I think he's a phenomenal individual. If you're talking about who he is as a person, as a character, as an individual, as a human being, I think Cal is I mean, I like Cal. I really like Cal. I dare to say I love Cal, but his coaching has just been unacceptable these past 5 years. And it's even more unacceptable when his attitude approach towards it. It's like he doesn't care because it's like he has such a safety net underneath him. So it's like I really think that contract took away the hunger and the desire and the passion, Johnny. That contract took it all away from him. Like it's not there anymore. I don't see it. I don't see it at least when I see him talking these interviews. Like what I told you earlier. Like what's the worst they can do? Fire me? That's really telling for a coach to joke about that. Because what coach that doesn't have 33 mil sitting in the back view if they do decide to get him out of there? What coach would even crack a joke like that?
Well, I'll
So
tell you what, see, this felt like I was the friend at a funeral service who was just here for emotional support.
oh man, that's a great
Like,
point.
I love
That's a
you
great
down,
analogy.
brother. I was like, I feel like the friend that accompanied their friend to their family's funeral. Like, it's not my family. I'm just here for my homie.
This this is
It's okay,
outrageous.
see. We
It's
got a lot more.
disgusting.
It's gonna be a lot more grave diggers tomorrow. We
Well, I
got
mean,
we all the way down to the national
but
championship.
but Kentucky had by far the worst. So what could upend that? And I don't think there's not much that could really upset that because it's just like look at the brackets that how many brackets got destroyed because Kentucky lost. I mean,
Well,
all
South
right,
Carolina
but
didn't do. South Carolina broke their promise, broke a couple promises too.
the whole SEC was man. The SEC came out and man, they just look awful. I mean, that's Tennessee, the only team that's rolling right now. So it's just like, hey, you know what? SEC got, but like I said, Kentucky's gonna have to have some nasty conversations this off season. And they're gonna have to sit Coach Cal down and they're gonna have to and they gotta figure out something. Do they give him one more shot, one more absolute chance? Uh a part of me says no, and then a part of me says, it'll probably happen because just the circumstances, but they don't have to bring Cal back. They really don't. But I don't know, man. That's a decision they're gonna have to make. I hope they find it, and then it's like, okay, does he bring in like who do people say? Okay, if you fire Coach Cal, you lose that whole recruiting class that he brought, and I'm just like, man, Cal brought in 5, 6 guys this year, 5-star recruits. Two of them were and he. This is what he produced with it. So what does it matter if he brings another group of like? What does it matter? He's brought one already. He didn't do anything with it. So what does it matter if him bringing another one? He tried to get older. He went in the transfer portal. Remember Oscar Sheway? He got him in the transfer portal. He got Antonio Reeves and Trey Mitchell in the transfer portal. They all been phenomenal contributors for the program. But they never made any post game progress. Like Cal went old. He tried to go old. He got upset by St. Peter's. He only made it to the second round. He went young. He got upset by Oakland. He got upset by a guy who, if you look at him, you wouldn't even like. He looks like a guy that's gonna be working at a corporate somewhere after March Madness is done, after he graduates. It's like this is who Kentucky lost to, and it's just like it's just unacceptable. This is not the gold standard. This isn't Kentucky basketball. And they're saying, well, if you fire Cal, what coach? Like, okay, I don't know, Johnny. I don't know. I don't know, Johnny.
Take
I
it
mean,
down, see. We'll get back at it, brother. We'll get back at it, y'all. We appreciate y'all for being here with us, y'all. We appreciate y'all for being here for my man, Sid.
listen, that
Chris is gonna love this video. Oh Oh my
Chris,
God.
he's gonna love this video.
He's
I
gonna
mean,
love this
he's
tape.
he's he's the one that he's called Cal a fraud so long that now I'm really starting to believe him now, and I actually agree with him now. And it's like me and Chris rarely agree, guys. If you know Chris from the RZP, he's been on a lot of episodes. Check out the last few episodes he's been on it. Yeah, me and him rarely agree on things, and when we do, it's just shocking. And this is as shocking as Kentucky losing. But that concludes episode 148 of the Restricted Zone podcast. This was a rant filled, half prediction filled episode because just the biggest story of it all is everyone's brackets getting busted, and the guy responsible for not me, not he's not solely his fault, but from him to the athletic director to the players to the coaching staff to just everyone just deserves blame for this loss because it's just. And I'm looking forward this season, Johnny. I'm gonna be keeping tabs on them every day. I'm gonna be checking them. I'm gonna be
I
checking
wouldn't.
their progress.
HT, when they lose, I will not be here for the troll session. Like you're doing a single segment if you're trolling the Oakland after they lose.
I'm doing a single segment. What? I'm a troll.
If
What?
Oakland loses and you want to troll them, I will not be here for that.
You gotta be there because
How far do you think
no.
they're gonna make? See, like how far do you think they're gonna make? That's the thing about a Cinderella team, bro. It only hurts
Oak,
you.
if Oakland makes the Elite Eight, you gotta fire Cal. You gotta fire Cal. You gotta fire Cal if they make the
If
Elite
Oakland
Eight.
makes the Elite Eight, Cal's not getting fired. If they lose next game, then yeah, he's on the hot seat.
Cal, what do you
Appreciate y'all,
think?
folks.
Uh,
Appreciate y'all.
I was gonna talk some more, but listen, let's end the.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. My phone about to die. That's
That's why. All right, your phone about to die, so that's a great way to end it off because I felt like I could talk about him for 2 hours. But let's end the episode off. But that really officially concludes episode 148. Man, a hell of an episode. Shout out to Johnny being my partner, Phil, therapist, emotional support. Yeah, the advocate, not the analyst, not the advocate. Oh man,
yes,
I'm so.
sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, I messed up your slogan. Go ahead and
No,
say
you
your
good,
slogan
bro. You good.
properly.
Listen,
Say
my
your
team didn't
slogan.
make the tournament. I guess it's a little bit. I've been though.
Who your team again?
You Nova, baby, Temple, Penn State. No, we Philly over here.
Oh God. All right. With that being said, Johnny, come on, Johnny. Why don't you be a Kentucky fan with me?
I'd rather not be in that coffin with you, sir.
All right. With that being said, let's end the episode. Listen, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube page. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts. Those are the streaming platforms that we are on. You guys can definitely check us out on Instagram at Restricted Zone Pod. And like I said, you can follow us individually. The crew is 8 of us. The Instagram profile would be in the link below the whole description. So if you want to check out the crew, you want to send us individual messages, or if you even want to send a message to the podcast talking about which topics you like for us to talk about and cover, we'll be more than glad and open to doing it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode as much as we enjoyed recording this episode and be back. March Madness episodes will be on the horizon. NBA episodes will be on the horizon. Baseball episodes will be on the horizon too, so be on the lookout for that. We're going to be pumping out a lot of episodes these next upcoming days and weeks. So just get the strap on, get ready for the ride. It's going to be awesome, man. So love you guys. Enjoy March Madness. Don't go crazy. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys, and we'll be back on Monday. Johnny, we're out.
Yes, sir.